What is RPE? It just means rate of perceived exertion. Had to check. You'll hear me talking about which zone you should be running in and how hard should that feel. So if you're not running with a heart rate monitor, if you're just running without a phone or a watch, the worst thing you can do really as a runner is run everything at the same kind of level, the same kind of intensity, because after a while, A, you'll just get a bit bored because everyone's the same, and B, you'll just plateau because you're just running at the same intensity every time you go out. If you're in a training cycle like we are now, every run should be at a different intensity. So let's just go through this. It's just a really simple scale, 1 to 10. 1 is just extremely light activity, so just a jog essentially, or a fast walk. You're fine, you can talk normally, your heart rate's a little bit elevated. Between 2 and 3, it's just very light activity, and it feels like you can just do this for hours and hours and hours. So again, really, really steady and really manageable, and you can just carry a conversation off and it's not a problem. 4 to 6, this is what we would call moderate activity. So your breathing becomes heavier, you'll start to notice it. You can hold a conversation, but maybe not a long one, but still fairly comfortable. But you can definitely feel that you're starting to work a little bit more. There's a little bit more intensity going on. If we get up to 7, between 7 and 8, that's getting towards uncomfortable. Just a very short breath, and you could say a sentence, but that's about it. 9 would be very hard and very difficult to maintain what you're doing for any length of time really. Just you can barely spit a few words out. And 10 is just your maximum effort, where it just feels like you can just about keep going, completely out of breath, eyeballs out, unable to talk, and something you can only manage for a very, very short amount of time. And you shouldn't be really doing a huge amount at this exertion anyway. If we just equate that to races, so say between 1 and 3, if you're doing an ultra marathon, for example, you really want to be able to maintain that for hours and hours and hours. So you'd be running extremely comfortably, and you can just maintain that for a long, long time. 4 to 6, you would then start to get into the range of maybe a marathon, where you're breathing heavily-ish, but you can maintain a conversation, and again, it's something you can maintain for a longer time, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours. Again, depending on the athlete, depending on your experience, if you're getting into between like 7 and 9, I'd probably I would do a half marathon in that range, where I know I'm pretty comfortable with that distance because of my training, and I can really just be, comfortably uncomfortable for the length of the race. That's fine for me, but maybe different for you. And then 9 and 10 is really getting into something like a 10k, even down to 5k, or even just a mile. Especially at the top end, if your RPE scale is 10, then that's just literally a mile, or as much as you can manage essentially, maybe even 500 meters. Say you're doing an interval session or a fartlek session, if you really want to go through the gears, zoom up to 10, not for long. It's just about trying to make sure that every run has a purpose, make sure that every run does something different, especially in a training cycle. If you're running 5 times a week, each one of those runs is doing something, whether you're recovering, whether you're building endurance, whether you're building speed. So it's really important that even if you're not training with heart rate, that you use your own mental RPE scale. You're not going out and putting the same effort into each run, because it's a quick way to plateau, because you're just doing everything, let's say for example a zone to 140 BPM, and you never do anything else. Then at some point during your training cycle, you have to test yourself, and a lot of time in your training cycle you have to recover, and you have to try and keep yourself as fresh as possible for your next long run or your next speed session. Just every week, look at your runs for the week, and then mentally divide them up into, okay, easy, steady, and then your harder runs or your threshold runs. Again, trying to separate every run out so that they all do something different. All right, keep on.